The lesson.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to the lesson, man.
Thank you, bro. It's good to be here. I'm really glad to be back in Adelaide, eh?
From Tasmania?
Yeah, straight out of Kingston. It's just south of Hobart. Yeah, down the southern side of the state, but I've been based there for the last 6 months. Just doing my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Hobart.
It's an interesting city. It's about like, I think it's 220,000 population, so it's a very small town still, but somewhat of a city. But yeah, I grew up down there and there's not too much to do, so I think hip-hop was a perfect answer for growing up, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of drains and stuff like that, a lot of tunnels to explore, so graffiti went hand in hand with that.
Yeah.
And other than that, you just generally got drunk in the park, and kind of rapping went hand in hand with that, you know what I mean? So, yeah. We quite proudly took out bogan hunters, you know, that was our like claim to fame, I guess. We had three people in the finals. No other on the other states, they had one person in the finals. We had three, so you know, like, and then there's one guy took out the points comp, and then two other kids they're from Bridgewater. Shout outs to Bridgewater if anyone's listening. But yeah, they ended up at their house, and I used to get weed off one of them when I was like a kid. Fucking. What was it? They went and did the interview at their house, and then turns out they had like 50 old bombs in the backyard, and they were all red hot. So as soon as the episode fucking went up on TV, the cops went and raided them for like 50 stolen cars. They got fucked up, and they won a ute with a bunch of kegs in it, and they sold it a week later. Like, yeah,
wow,
units. But I just enjoy like hanging out down in Tassie and fucking lurking around the hoods, man. Keeps life interesting. I fucking hate rich suburbia. I used to do door knocking when I lived in Melbourne, trying to sell electricity to people, you know, I worked for a broker and it was fucked. And I've lurked around many a neighbourhood full of angry people that want nothing to do with humans, you know what I mean? And I'd rather chill in the hoods where everyone's fucking, you know, mixing it up and getting loose, and there's something going on, you know. Every day there's a different drama. Keeps us entertained.
The first time your name came to my attention was when I started getting into the battle rap stuff.
Yeah.
And were you founder of, was it Grime Time Australia?
Yeah, somewhat. I guess like it was founded by myself and someone else, but I wouldn't say we found it. We were kind of given the right to start it. You know what I mean? Because Grind Time was already an established company in America. My first dealings with the battle scene outside Tassie was through Got Beef, and I did a few battles through them, and then ended up organising an event through Got Beef. But as it turned out, we ended up releasing it as Grind Time Australia and running it from there on.
And so tell us about some of the battles that you had on there, because the one that I saw and that I remember in particular was the Cursa 60 battle.
Yeah.
Tell us about that as someone that obviously organised that and was behind the scenes, as well as you hosted the event.
Yeah.
You know, kind of the story behind that.
Well, I think like the battle scene, like first Got Beef was March 2010, and that's where like I was, you know, well aware of 60 before that, even in the early days when he was doing stuff with LC and Uncut, but and then, you know, the whole Forthright era, those guys had always done shows down in Hobart, so I was a fan of his stuff through Forthright, you know what I mean? And the mixtape that they did I thought was really good, and then 2010 in March it all kind of kicked off with Got Beef, and that was my first experience coming over to what we call the mainland, in the hip hop scene, you know, not just going for a family holiday or whatever. And I met both those guys at that event, and I think they both kind of represent a massive sort of demographic in Australia, you know what I mean, in their own each ways. There were so many different styles of a clash. Like even 2 years before the battle happened, people were asking to see it because they were both such characters, you know, and they're kind of both easily relatable to certain sides of the country and Australian culture, you know what I mean? And so I knew for a long time that battle especially was going to pop off. And I think it kind of, like I battled 360, I think it was December in 2010, and then I set up a battle against Cursa in February, 2011, in hopes that like I could then eventually set up that main matchup. You know what I mean? And because I beat 360 and then I lost to Cursa, it kind of went hand in hand that they battle next.
Yeah, right. So that's kind of, so you sort of had that in mind while you were battling these dudes.
Yeah. Well, I noticed when I started running Grind Time Australia, I was kind of looking for guys that had also quite a following and quite a bit of buzz to try and push to make a big matchup, you know what I mean, and make something pop off that would only be watched nationwide as well as internationally, you know what I mean, and yeah, so I'd had that in mind for a fair while. Like as much as I love battle rap, and I've never really cared too much about winning, you know what I mean. Like to me, it's all fun and games, you know what I mean. So losing a battle to Kerser and like the hopes that fucking I'd set them up, like I was stoked if anything that kind of was the outcome of the situation.
When you're putting together a matchup like that, is it, tell us a bit about that, like trying to negotiate with people and...
Yeah. I think they were both, from what I remember, it was a while ago now, but they were both pretty easy in regards to organising the matchup. I think both of them knew that it was in their best intentions. They both had an album dropping around the same time. I think it was the battle was early December, and Curse was dropping his just afterwards, and 60 had just dropped one, but it was a perfect time for it, you know what I mean? And things just all fell into place, really. And when that came out, got over 1 million views in the first month of it being out, and all of a sudden, everywhere I was going in the whole country, kids are asking me who do I think won it? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
When they wanted a promo, nobody really wanted to have that judge. But yeah, I'll never be left with the forever question of who won out of 360 and Cursa. You know what I mean? Everywhere I go, it haunts me.
Well, now I got to ask you.
Yeah, who do I think won?
No, because when I watch it, sometimes I'll pick 60.
Yeah.
Then at a different time, I'll think, oh, no, maybe Cursa got him.
Yeah.
That's what makes it.
It's an interesting battle. And I think it's like you can take so many things from it, if you want to like judge it just on, bars on paper, you know what I mean? Like, as like with pre-written battles these days in a cappella, I don't even like judging them. I think it's better that they're not because, for one, the perception and the perspective of the battle is very different from when you're there on the night to watching it back on YouTube in your living room, and then when we did have it judged, you'd have 5 people that then it came down to, oh, well, it was them that said this, and like if the fans didn't agree. So it was a hard one, you know what I mean? And yeah.
Now, was it after that one that 60 battled Awkwards?
I think it was maybe 2 events after that. We brought out Awkwards, and that was when LMG Studios was kind of kicking off, and we were doing the D-Corp Cypher sessions. And so we had Awkwards out for a full week, and we did like a big Cypher video with him. But and then he battled 360 and comfortably destroyed him, I thought. But I think that's when 60 was beginning to realise that he really wasn't passionate about battle rapping anymore, and he really wanted to put his effort into his music. And I can understand that. So, for example, like I was going to battle Saurus this year, and that was coming up, and it got organised something like 5 months before the actual battle, and I had 5 months of thinking about how am I going to attack this guy. And Saurus is like one of the all-time, greatest battlers over the last 10 years. You know what I mean? And I respect that, and at the same time, I wasn't inspired to do it. If anything, I just not inspired at all. Like usually when I'm getting ready for a battle, like things are coming to my head, like, yes, I can say this, but with that one, it was like, I know everything about this guy. Everything's been said about him. I've got 100 different angles I could go on, and I just didn't have the passion or the heart for it. I know, maybe it was a bit of winter depression as well, and just feeling like, fuck the world. And the last thing I wanted to do at the time was spend 2 months practicing insulting someone that I actually used to look up to as a kid, you know what I mean? And he was like, he was on Facebook trolling and calling me a fucking piece of shit and everything. And I understand it's a Facebook game, and he's only playing the character. But at the same time, I've got too much other shit in my life to really worry about practicing to insult someone. And people are saying, well, you can make it a positive thing, you can make it the right thing, which I generally have tried to do for the last like 5 or 6 battles that I've done, rather than just insulting someone and bringing them down, try and find a moral point that I can bring them towards, you know what I mean? But the battling as well has changed a lot. It's become very trendy, it's very bar heavy, you know what I mean? Very wordplay associative, like it's all over the place. And for me, for hip-hop, and I like painting and I like all different aspects of the culture, you know what I mean? It's not really where I'm focused at the moment. So when 60 lost to Awkwards, I just felt for him. And I thought, well, rather than just, you know, showing up and getting paid to do a shit battle against the Saurus that I'm not inspired to do, I'd rather pull out and, you know, give it to someone else. And from my understanding, Dunks from Adelaide ended up battling him, and he absolutely killed it. And, you know, everyone was like, whoa, Dunks has, you know, stepped up. And I'd rather Dunks take a step up than me take a step down, you know what I mean? Like, as well as he deserves it. Dunks has been around since the second Got Beef event. He is very good. He's always put a lot of effort into the battle culture, and probably hasn't got as much back as some others, you know what I mean? So to see Dunks take that out, I was very grateful to see that the opportunity was used well, rather than me just rocking up going, yeah, you got holes in your face, and, you know, like that being it, because dead set, all I could think was like, you got holes in your face, and like that's what everyone said to him for 10 years, and like I was like, this is shit. You know what I mean? I'd rather like help out someone else in making a video clip or writing a track or do something like that than focus my energy there, you know.
Him and Kerser were going back and forth online, weren't they?
Yeah. I think for Saurus is a bit of tension. I don't know, he was just looking for that attention, you know. I remember at the first Got Beef, we were all out in the alleyway, and Cursa, it was the first time I met Cursa and all the ABK boys, and Thesaurus was there, and we were all smoking joints and everything like that, and it was a nice, relaxed situation. And then I think, I can't remember how it started, but I think Thesaurus was calling out Cursa, then Cursa said he was a fat, something like that, and Thesaurus said he was shit, and then all the Curses fans started attacking Thesaurus, and they're like, nobody even knows who you are, and like, you know, the irony in that, like, so now Thesaurus has kind of gone out of his way to like try and pick a fight or get that battle with him, when I'm pretty sure Cursa wants nothing to do with him, you know. He's succeeding quite well. He's just finished his 6th album in 6 years and about to do his fucking 6th tour, you know what I mean? You can't knock that dude's hustle. I think the last thing on his mind is coming up. And also, like, I've done battles since I was about 16, 17, and I'm 27 this year. So, and I look at Thesaurus, and he is still really good. But I think, bro, you're just going to battle forever? Like, are you going to do anything else but just still battling? Like, is he going to be 60 years old just sitting there on his porch going, why aren't the kids battling me? You know, like, that. And then I kind of, like, looked at myself, and I'm like, fuck, all I've done for the last 10 years is a lot of battles and one album, you know what I mean? And for me, like, I really like making music, and I feel like I've got something more to give to music rather than battling, you know. But at the same time, I love the pure hip-hop aspect of it. Like, I've been running these freestyle battles again in Tassie, and we've done 4 events now. And, like, for example, with the last one, this local dude, his name's Jesse Smith, and he doesn't even rap. He's just kind of like the guy that's always chilling, and people always hang shit on him, but he's a real good bloke, you know, but he cops it. And like, so we said we were 1 number short from the battle, from the 16 that we needed for the tournament. I'm going, Jesse, you're getting on it. And we put his name down, you know, and he's going, all right. And he just gets up, and he tried rapping on the mic, and he was so nervous that he's shaking the mic like this. But at the same time, he got real angry, and he's like, I'm going to win this. And he's like trying to rap into the mic and shaking it and going, I better fucking win this shit. Really better make me famous, you know. And like, it was great, you know. Everyone was laughing. He had a good time. He got off the stage, like, you know what I mean. Like, it was kind of like refreshing. And even though it's back to the bare essentials, I think that's where you find hip hop. You know what I mean?
The lesson. Oh yeah.